Hello, and welcome to the chronicles of myself, Commander EddieRio, within the vast galaxy of Elite Dangerous. So I started my journey, like many others, in Cozy A system, where I had a Sidewinder and also a free Eagle. And I had a little bit of fun with the Eagle, but I really wanted to get myself to Sol, and I didn't want to leave anything behind in a system miles away. So I sold my Eagle, I jumped in my Sidewinder, I had a bit of cash to upgrade some modules, and I headed to Sol. On the way I started taking up little missions, took any little encounters that I could, any little trading that I could along the way to help fund my journey and also upgrade my ship and help head towards a hauler, which was one of the first ships that I wanted to get. And here I am in that hauler in a system called Ross 104, which is a few jumps from Sol, in the hauler that I managed to get myself and outfit it pretty well. It's getting there, and I've just started to outfit it for mining, and I want to go out and do a little bit of prospecting, mine myself some rings and see what I can get, see how much can be earned from doing it without really sourcing out a good spot to mine, just kind of hit and miss in this system and see what I get. So I know there are some kind of very quick ways of making credits in the game at the moment through sort of rare goods and using kind of third-party trading apps on the internet to help you trade back and forth and maximize your profits. But I kind of want to take my time with this, and I want to enjoy the journey and earn every ship that I get myself into. So I've just worked very hard to get myself into a hauler, and I appreciate this hauler all the more. When I got interdicted a little while ago, I was crapping myself a little bit that I was going to lose it. I think I got down to sort of 70% hull at one point as a pirate started to attack me. I think a game like this isn't about how quickly you can get there, but how you get there and the journey that you take on the way. And I think that's the important bit and the enjoyment out of the game. I wouldn't like it to be handed on a plate, everything. So I'm just going to enjoy the journey and the ride and try little bits out as I go along. So I'm fit out to give mining a little go, and I think I want to mine in a ring rather than in the little asteroid groups that they give, just because I think it looks a little better there and you get sort of more rocks to mine, and I think the views are sometimes better where the clusters of rocks are sometimes right near the sun, whereas on the ring you get a planet and the sort of sun rising over the planet, and I think that looks kind of cool. So as I almost hit the undock as I go out there, things like that always sketch me out, because like I said, credits are hard to come by in the early stages and you're kind of risking it all. I've got 16 cargo slots, 16 tons that I can fit on this ship at the moment, and I intend to go out and fill it up completely and see how much I can earn from that. I could have had more cargo slots by perhaps removing my shield generator and putting some more cargo slots on there, but I found that you really need your shields. You never take your shields off unless you really feel like you can risk it, because it saved me so many times having shields. So they're just checking my hopper. As you can see, I had a little bit of leftover goodies from the last attempt that I just did, just to try it out and make sure that it works and the system's in place. So I've just picked one of the planets which has a good ring around it, and I'm going to head towards it. Now when you bring up the system map, you can see that some of the rings are like split into two sections, and it tells you whether it's a sort of metal rich or icy or what type of ring it is, and some have two, and the one that I'm heading towards has two, and the ring that I want to go for is the inner ring, because that's the one with the minerals in. Now as I get closer, you'll see resource extraction sites pop up, and they're great if you were mining with someone else. You could both enter that resource extraction site and then mine together. But because I'm on my own, you don't have to. I just head straight for the ring, slow down a little bit, and because you get so close to it, it brings you out of your super cruise. So then I just head towards these juicy little nuggets of goodness and get my mining laser out and start chewing away on these rocks. Now, if I'm being honest, mining isn't really my forte and something that I'm going to be doing a lot of. But I think it's a really good place to start, and it's kind of those humble beginnings of a miner mining the asteroid fields and then turning into the elite pilot, sort of the beginning to end journey that I'm kind of interested in doing. I think the next thing after mining that I really want to do is kind of discovery and probing out new systems and scanning them down and looking for those pockets of really rare minerals that are worth a lot of credits on the market. So I think my main aim at the moment is to get myself a cobra, which I can use to probe out these systems and find myself a really good place to earn a lot of credits mining. But at the moment I'm just starting wherever I am just to try out the mechanics of it and get used to doing it. So as you can see, I found a nice rock and I shoot my mining laser at it and I wait, and as you can see, a nugget fell off. As soon as that nugget falls off, I lock it and it tells you what percentage of minerals are in it that can be refined. So as you can see, I've seen some gallite and coltan, but it's only sort of 5% and 3%. So move over to a different rock and have a look and see what percentage comes off of that. You kind of want a high percentage, because obviously if you can imagine that 100% is 1 ton, and that's 1 unit that you can sell. So the sort of closer to 20, I think anything above 20 would be really good, if, you know, 20 combined. I've heard that you can get kind of 60, even 70% out of the little nuggets that come out. So you'd only need to scoop 2 nuggets to get 1 ton. So those are the kind of things that when I'm probing out my systems in my Cobra and looking for, that's the kind of stuff that I'm going to be looking at to maximize the mining and get the most out of your time from doing it. So another good technique to use whilst mining is don't just chip off one little bit and then go and scoop it up. Keep mining the rock until it doesn't yield any more little nuggets, and then afterwards go and scoop them all up. And it just saves a little bit of time and hassle doing it this way. Now, the scooping it up in your cargo hold is a little bit fiddly and a bit of a hassle, and I think I've heard them talk on the forums about having drones that could come out and sort of collect your stuff for you, and I think that's a really good idea. I'd like to see something like that implemented into the game. And another thing is allocating the resources in your hopper. So once I've scooped this in, it says resource unallocated. So I've now got to go over and look at my right hand panel and allocate the resources. So here you go, I've got 2 spots in my hopper that I can use to allocate different minerals to. And it's good to start off with 2 if you can. I think the basic one starts off with 1, so you can only allocate 1. It would be really good if you could afford it to get the one where you can allocate 4 different minerals, because you're constantly picking up different types of minerals from the different rocks that are around you, and it really helps to do that. Otherwise you find that you chuck 50-60% of something away sometimes to get the more of a different resource. So if you can, get the one with 4 extraction thingies on it. When the rocks are all kind of grouped up together like this, one thing I do is kind of select it. See, now I've collected 1 unit of that. I have to then reallocate the hopper to take that mineral again, which is a bit frustrating. It would be good if it automatically just started to do that as well. But here you can see I lock one up, I move into it, I reverse thrusters, come back, lock the next one up, move into it. So it's good when they're kind of grouped up like that. You can scoop them up quite easy. But generally I quite find this enjoyable, and it's quite a relaxing thing to do, slowly mining away, knowing that you're making a little bit of a profit and enjoying the kind of views of the asteroid belt here and seeing the kind of the center of the galaxy in the different distance with the planet that you're around. And quite an enjoyable thing to do if you've got, you know, half an hour to spare to just log on and do a little bit of mining. So at this point I'm half full on my cargo, and I think I might as well go and check out another ring to see what that yields. So I'll have a little look at my map and then I'll super cruise out of here and into another ring. So to do that I've got to get out of the kind of cluster of rocks that I'm in here, because I'm mass locked by them, so I can't activate my frameshift drive while I'm mass locked by it. So you just burn away and then hit your super cruise button and off you go. And I just quick recce at what I've picked up there. I'm quite pleased with myself, got 7 little nuggets of goodness, and going to check out the next ring to see what that yields. I've already kind of grown quite attached to this hauler and I'd like to be able to keep it, so I think that I'm not going to sell it to be able to get a cobra. I'm probably going to try and make the credits that I need to buy a cobra outright and still keep this little hauler. And I'd like to kind of keep it for as long as possible as a sort of remembrance to the fact of where I started from in this game, being in this hauler, making those early credits. I think it would be really cool if you could name your ship as well, and for other people to be able to see the name of your ship in their overview as they're looking at you, because I think ship naming is something that's gone on for a long time, especially in sort of naval ships and the rockets that we kind of send up into space right now. I think names are quite important, and it would be lovely to be able to name your ship. So here I am delving into the next one, and take it a little bit hard there. Probably should have slowed down a little bit before entering that. I hope I didn't damage my ship too much on entry there. But again, it's just kind of rinse and repeat, find the rock, see what I get on this one, and make a little note of it as well, and see which ones are the best places to mine and where I could come back to maximise those profits. So skip forward a little bit here, and then that's what I wanted to hear. My cargo hold is full, and it's time to get back to the station and sell my goods and see how much I've made. Now, all in all, this trip from beginning to end has probably taken just under an hour. Now, I probably could have done this a lot quicker, but you know, I have to go and make myself a cup of tea every now and again, and I get distracted with things quite quickly and taking phone calls and stuff. So it's this kind of gameplay which I quite enjoy, kind of very relaxed playing and not worrying too much about how long things are taken or how quickly I should be doing it, and just enjoy the view as you're doing it. So burning off to Bunch City, which has quite a lot of stuff on the market here as well. I think I could buy 6 or 7 different types of ships. It's got lots of different outfittings as well, so it's quite a good place to kind of set up base for a little bit. But already I'm finding that you can get lost very quickly in this game by taking little trade routes and doing little missions, and you just end up on this kind of journey, and before you know it you're hundreds of light years from where you were previously. So setting up a kind of base at the moment isn't really happening. I think once I've found a decent system with lots of different activities that I can do in it, perhaps then I'll kind of maybe settle. But for the moment I'm just kind of drifting aimlessly through space, taking different trade routes and doing the odd spot of mining here and there when I can. Because we haven't kind of got a hangar space or an inventory where we can keep our goods at the moment, I think that encourages you to kind of travel around more and not worry about setting up a base as well. Obviously we can store ships in certain locations now, and that's going to be a big part of settling down in an area and putting your ships around so that you can jump into a different ship on the fly depending on what you want to do. So here I am coming into dock. Don't forget to request docking. I've done that enough times and flown in and then not had enough time to fly back out as it's been alerted and I end up losing my ship. I think I've lost quite a few ships doing that already, but now it's drummed into me to request docking pretty much as soon as I land within the station radius. I do love the process of docking and trying to get yourself within that little slit and then hitting your landing pad and trying to do it as smoothly as possible. Although it doesn't always happen that smoothly. One thing I think this game could really do with is perhaps a few more things floating around in space. It would be great if outside the station there were a lot of really big ships or other kind of smaller parts to the station that you could fly around in, and the same in some of the sort of unidentified signal sources that you end up landing in if they were a bit more had a bit more stuff going on and a bit more stuff flying around. So here we are. As you can see, I've got 90,000 credits at the moment. I have a quick look at the bulletin board to make sure that they're not wanting anything that I've got in my cargo, because obviously I could sell that for a much higher price if they had that there. So it's always worth checking the bulletin board just to see if they're requesting something that you've just been mining. So obviously that's going to be a good way of maximizing your profits for that rather than selling it straight on the commodities market. But unfortunately there's nothing that I can sell on there, so I head straight for my market and see how much that I get for these sorts of things. So you can just scroll down and look in your cargo and you can see the different parts that you've got. I think I only had 2 of that one, so I start selling it up. That one's quite good, so I've got 4,000 credits for that, and I just systematically work my way through selling all the little different bits and gubbins that I've just been mining for the last hour. So as I'm going through it here, I'm kind of making mental notes of which ones are selling for more and which ones aren't. If you can see, the most that I've got there is this one, and it's only worth 700 odd credits, so not really worth my time mining that one, but obviously it's more abundant, so it's easier to get, but try and keep my eyes out for the other one while I mine. So obviously I started off at 90 and I'm now on 113. So I've made myself about 23,000 credits there, which I'm quite happy with, and I think the next time I go out I'm going to know which ones to mine and maximise that profit. So that's about that for this episode. I hope you enjoyed that. Please don't forget to give me a like and also subscribe to the channel if you want to see how it goes on in the next episode as I move towards getting a cobra. So I don't think I'll be too far away from it in the next episode. Till next time, fly safe.